A historic day in India as Droupadi Murmu is now the president-elect and the first tribal woman to take the reins of the top office. Droupadi Murmu started out as a school teacher before entering state politics and has an exemplary public service record of over 25 years. Her candidature drove a wedge through the opposition as many in the political spectrum chose to be on the right side of history. Before we get to our guests, here is the inspirational story of a woman's rise from humble beginnings against all adversities to become the first citizen of the country. India's 15th president, India's first tribal president, first president born after independence. Droupadi Murmu is a woman of many firsts.
इसी कालखंड में देश को नए राष्ट्रपति, नए उपराष्ट्रपति उनका मार्गदर्शन प्रारंभ होगा.
Nearly 5,000 MPs and MLAs across the country voted on 18th July to elect the newest occupant of the Raisina Hill.
श्रीमती द्रौपदी मुर्मू, इनको राष्ट्रपति का प्रत्याशी घोषित किया गया है एनडीए की तरफ से.
An announcement that did not come as much of a surprise as in 2017 too, her name had figured in the NDA's shortlist for India's top constitutional office. Ramnath Kovind had then emerged as the dark horse. With the numbers stacked overwhelmingly in the favor of the NDA, Droupadi Murmu's election was high on symbolism and less about the numbers game. An election which is witnessing the changing political axis. A selection that has placed the opposition camp in a quandary. Uddhav Thackeray, forced by the Shiv Sena MPs, broke ranks from allies in Mahavikas Aghadi to back her. TDP's Chandrababu Naidu came out to even campaign for her in Andhra Pradesh. Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, India's only tribal party, had to support as well. After all, she had served as the governor of Jharkhand.
मेरे जो फैमिली बहुत गरीबी है, गरीबी थोड़ा मैं फाइनेंस सियाली उनको सपोर्ट करूं, इसीलिए थोड़ा पढ़ लिख के ऐसा बन जाऊं कि मुझे थोड़ा नौकरी मिल जाए. लेकिन मुझे पॉलिटिक्स में जाना, ये गवर्नर बनना, ये मैं कभी सोची नहीं थी.
64-year-old Droupadi Murmu, low profile and soft-spoken, has generally steered clear of controversy. She was also the only governor to complete a full term in office in Jharkhand, which has had 10 governments in its 2 decades of existence.
जो सेंट्रल ने हम मेरा बहन का नाम लिया ना, हम लोग बहुत खुश में, रायरंगपुर के बासिंदा सब खुश में है. आदिवासी महिला की पहले जो चुना गया ना, वही सबसे खुशी बात है.
पूरा रायरंगपुर के साथ ही उनका बहुत अच्छा संपर्क रहा है. सबका उन्होंने हमेशा साथ और सहयोग दिया और बहुत ही प्यार भरा संपर्क रहा है उनका सबों के साथ में. हमारे किसी भी प्रोग्राम में वो हमेशा आगे रहते थे और सबकी बातें सुनते थे.
तो काउंसिलर से होके विधायक भी बन गए. विधायक बन के वो बेस्ट अवार्ड भी उनको मिला है, नीलकंठ पुरस्कार मिला है उनको. उसके बाद वो मंत्री भी बने. सबका साथ मिल के काम करते हैं.
Born into a Santhali farmer's home in Uper Beda village of Mayurbhanj district, Murmu persisted with her studies even though she had to leave her village after class 7 in order to do so. With the help of relatives, she completed her schooling in Bhubaneswar and then joined Ramadevi Women's College. After her studies, Murmu got a job with the Odisha's Irrigation and Power Department. She, however, quit the job after she got married to Shyam Charan Murmu, a bank employee, and moved to Rairangpur, a town about 20 kilometers from her native village. She started teaching at the Sri Aurobindo Integral Education and Research Center in Rairangpur. It was here that her work with a Santhal organization, where she had enrolled in the 1990s, caught the attention of the BJP's Raj Kishore Das. Back then, it was a party that did not have much political influence in the state. Seeing potential in Murmu, he asked her to contest for councillor in the Rairangpur Notified Area Council. In 1997, she became councillor and later vice chairperson of the Rairangpur Corporation.
2000 में 90 से 5 साल का ये तो आप जानते हैं टर्म होता है, लेकिन बीच में मुझे जो जनरल इलेक्शन आ गया, मुझे 2000 में टिकट दिया गया। उन्होंने कहा आपको तो लड़ना है। मैंने बोला मेरे बच्चे छोटे छोटे हैं, मुझे ये तो काउंसिलर में थी, वाइस चेयरमैन थी, तो टाउन के अंदर मुझे घूमना पड़ता था। फिर अभी तो मुझे पूरा क्षेत्र में घूमना पड़ेगा, तो टाइम नहीं दे पाऊंगी। फिर मुझे थोड़ा, मैंने बोला ठीक है चलिए। बच्चे भी बोले ठीक है माँ, तुम लड़ना चाहती हो तो लड़ो।
She served twice as a BJP MLA in Orissa and also worked as a minister in the Naveen Patnaik government from the 2002 to 2004, when the BJP and Biju Janata Dal ran a coalition government. She was awarded the Neelkant Award for the Best Legislator by the Orissa Legislative Assembly. Droupadi Murmu's candidature signifies the BJP's efforts to bring the tribal and other marginalized communities to the mainstream. A convincing example of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. It's an outreach to the strong 10.42 crore scheduled tribes population of India, who are largely in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Jharkhand and Maharashtra and other states in Northeast. The BJP hopes the message of the first tribal woman president of India will help them expand their footprints in tribal belts across the country and earn immediate electoral dividend in the upcoming polls. The move comes ahead of assembly elections in Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. The four states have 128 seats reserved for scheduled tribes, of which the BJP had won just 35 in the last assembly elections. The BJP is also hoping that her candidature will strengthen its political hold in Orissa and get a foothold in Jharkhand, where it lost the elections in 2019.
आज भी हम कहते हैं कि आदिवासियों में ओडिशा में संथाल प्रोग्रेसिव है, लेकिन इतना भी प्रोग्रेसिव नहीं है कि वो दूसरों के साथ कॉम्पीट कर पाए। इसीलिए और भी थोड़ा अभी भी फाउंडेशन स्टेज में है। आगे जाने के लिए महिला को और पुरुष को दोनों को आगे आना होगा, जैसे परिवार चलाने के लिए दोनों की आवश्यकता है।
In 2017, as governor, Murmu returned two controversial bills, the Chotanagar Tenancy Act and Santhal Pargana Tenancy Act, in view of the widespread agitation from tribes after the state sought to dilute their rights over their land. This move against the then CM of the BJP, Raghubar Das, cemented her as the real custodian of tribal aspirations and tribal cause. Droupadi Murmu got support of MLAs across party lines, polling over 60% of votes. Her elevation as the president reflects the triumph of the spirit of new resilient India, where any citizen can rise to occupy the highest constitutional office of India. In New Delhi, this is Maria Shakil. And we have